All right, guys, if you want to prevent cavities naturally, this is going to be an important video because I struggled with this for a long time, and that was despite having a really good diet at that time. I was eating great, very little processed foods, and at that time I was very low carb. But I would go to the dentist, be told I had cavities, and I want you to think about what I'm going to share in this video. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you 3 things that I do now that have helped me prevent cavities naturally. So the first thing we need to talk about is that during that time, unbeknownst to me, I did have thyroid issues and I was also coming up with these cavities. But what I wasn't thinking about is the connection between those two and fluoride. Okay. Now, obviously, fluoride is a very controversial subject because we add it to our water system. It's in all sorts of oral products that are supposed to make our teeth stronger, but there's plenty of evidence that that is not the case, okay? Now, here's some things that we know fluoride does that is not good for your oral health and not good for your body overall. The first is that it binds to calcium, okay? Now, the reason this is important is because calcium makes up a big part of our bone structure and a big part of our enamel structure in our teeth, that hard outside coating on our teeth. That's primarily, or a big part of it, is calcium. And if fluoride binds to that, we can see basically demineralization of our teeth, demineralization of our bones. That is not a good thing. Also, fluoride has been linked to tumor growth. I do want to point out this is a controversial subject. We have some studies showing this. We have some other studies that say this may not be true, but I always like to err on the side of caution in that regard. And we also know that fluoride interferes with your thyroid function and your parathyroid function. And these are critical to your body's ability to increase its metabolism, to provide you with energy. So there's a lot of negative things that fluoride does. Now, I want to be very blunt here. This does not make fluoride all bad. We do get some fluoride in our drinking water, for example, that naturally occurred. Before we added it to our water, we would get fluoride through water sources and that sort of thing. So it's okay for us to consume some. But now that we're adding it to our water system, we get much more than our bodies ever intended. So I want to make that point. Now, what can you do? Well, obviously, we want to minimize your exposure to fluoride. And there's also the quickest way to make that happen is you need to pay attention to your drinking water. A lot of people use filters, and that's great. I have a whole house filter for shower water. I get spring water for drinking water. Other people will just get, faucet filters, that kind of thing. The next and most important thing, you want to avoid commercial toothpaste, all right? They're loaded with fluoride. I do not think they're a good thing. I personally use natural tooth powders. I have other videos. I will put a link in the description to all these things that I personally use to minimize my fluoride exposure. But I use natural toothpaste, actually natural tooth powders. I love them. They're great and they're healthy and they're going to help that remineralization process in your body. Okay, and the last thing that we need to do is we need to avoid mouthwashes. Okay, also they have, mouthwash. They have fluoride in them. They're not needed, plus they can end up killing a lot of the microbiome, the good stuff in your mouth. Instead, what I use is coconut oil. I will take anywhere from 5 to 10 grams. Just put it in my mouth, let it melt, and I'll swish that around for 5 to 10 minutes. And then I'll actually swallow it just because I've talked about this before. Coconut oil not only is great for your teeth and the mineralization process, but it's also good for your metabolism. So that's what I use for mouthwash. As always, make sure go grab your free checklist at my website. I talk about a lot of other different natural health things you can do. But whether you're eating well or not eating well, if you find that you're getting more cavities and you're experiencing possibly thyroid issues, you really want to pay attention to this fluoride thing. So let me know in the comments if this makes sense. If there's other topics you would like me to cover, I would appreciate your feedback, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you.